Ghost of Hope says Xbox next console comes in 2026. And I think there are many reasons to believe that this is true. So let's go over it. First, let's look at the Reddit post. I'm hearing that the next Xbox console is still coming in 2026 and it will be called Xbox Prime. That's a cool name. Still unclear if it's a code name or the actual name. I hope it's the actual name. I've heard in Infinity Ward's next cut is still being considered a day one release for this, which is kind of wild that they of course can now have like a Call of Duty launch game. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. It of course did not work out with Halo, but with Call of Duty, you know, every year there's going to be one. So you can't go wrong with Call of Duty as a launch game. I know people don't believe it, but Xbox next console being in 2026 is pretty much an open secret within the industry. Some early, but I think it makes sense with where Xbox is headed. Name sounds corny, but it fits if there's a big push for day one games on Game Pass right away and they get the jump on PS6. Big risk, but huge rewards if it pays off. I asked Jess for corroboration on this a few weeks ago, and he did not have the sources to corroborate it or debunk it. Jess, of course, from Windows Central. So yeah, we have to keep in mind that this is a rumor still. But I'm gonna tell you why I think this is the right move for Xbox. And let's not forget, last year, during the podcast they did where they announced the games that were coming to PlayStation, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, and Pentiment, that they said that they were all like, don't worry, we're not like stopping with hardware, we're still making consoles, and the next one, you want to see that. Of course, business talk, marketing speak, but yeah, they basically confirmed, hey, we're already working on the next console, and it's gonna be the biggest leap ever. Xbox officially teases next-gen console, promises major generational leap. So this was in February 2024. Why I think this makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we kind of know, we don't have the official numbers from the Xbox side. We know the PlayStation 5 numbers, they're very good. And it seems that the Xbox Series X and S combined are like at half of what the PS5 is, which is not great. And it's only gonna get worse because Xbox is not selling a lot. Even the Switch, the age-old Switch, is selling more during the holiday season than the Xbox. Even when Xbox has Indiana Jones, Call of Duty on Game Pass, it doesn't matter. People are not buying the new Xbox as much as Microsoft wants. Of course, the fact that they are dropping all their games to PlayStation is not helping, but they are doing that because nobody's buying an Xbox. It's a whole circle. But if they are like, yo, the next generation starts in 2026 and we have the first next-gen console, that's gonna be insane because then third-party games will look better, will run better, will be better on Xbox. We know from Sony, basically, they've been calling 2024 the halfway point of the year, right? And they just launched the PS5 Pro. They're not gonna launch the PS6 in 2026, which means that Xbox will be the first. And there are quite a lot of people, myself included, that will be like, okay, so my game can look and run better on the new Xbox, then I want to get the new... Right now, there's no reason for me to turn on the Series X. I have a great PC, and I have a PS5. I love my PS5. I prefer that more than the Xbox. But yeah, there's... Like, I only turn it on for... Yeah, I don't know, for Starfield, because I do prefer, like, playing on Xbox a bit more than on PC. But there was another good reason. If they have the best console out there, for me, that would be a reason to look at Xbox again, play more on there. Obviously, it's a small audience, but that is more than what they have now. Right now, they have no benefit, apart from Game Pass, but they had that since the start of this generation, and it's not helping them at all. So I think them starting the new generation early is smart, but it also means something else. It means, and I think people are not kind of thinking about this yet, but it means that basically they're saying you can stop supporting the Series S. Because if they have the next Xbox, then you would think that publishers can stop supporting the Series S, right? Because Microsoft has already moved on. You can just use the Xbox Prime, and maybe launch it on Series X as well. Like, there are two ways to approach this. On one hand, that's great, because we know for a fact Black Myth Wukong, it's delayed. It's not coming to Xbox because of the Series S. That is what the director is saying. So, if you bought a Series X, you paid the same amount of money as people on PS5. But because Microsoft decided that there's a cheaper option for people, which I think is great, like, let more people enjoy games, that's great. But not if it's holding back people that did buy the premium price, but now cannot enjoy their premium product because of this other console that Microsoft wants parity with. Because if you want to launch a game on Xbox Series, it has to work on both systems. And yeah, we know with Black Myth Wukong this means, I mean, Wukong can probably run fine on Series X. I mean, of course, like, they did improve it over time. PS5 at launch was not that great, but it's now way better. Series X would have been the same. So they probably could have made it work on Series X. Wukong would be out on Xbox, but the Series S is delaying it. So if you bought the Series X, you were like, what the heck? Why am I getting punished for the Microsoft choosing to go with a weaker system? And of course, in 2023, the other, like, Wukong was the biggest game of 2024 in terms of popularity. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 was the game of the year, the biggest game of 2023. That also is not on Xbox at launch because the technical issues with the Series S. This was for the split screen. I think at one point, because it's of course now on Xbox, they dropped the split screen requirement. So that was like the first time where Microsoft was like, okay, there can be differences between the two versions. But what I think might happen if they are moving to this Xbox Prime console is that they can basically drop that sort of thing where they say, yo, everything has to be on Series S. It's gonna be a fascinating situation, and let me know in the comments and in the chat as well. Do you think people that bought a Series S will feel cheated on? If Microsoft is basically like, yo, we are moving on. Series S is over. So when you bought the Series S, you thought, okay, I'm gonna be throughout this whole generation similar to the PS5, but I'm entering for $200 cheaper. But now they're basically saying 2026, yo, we're moving on to this next hardware. So it's gonna be fascinating to see if they then suddenly drop that requirement where they're not like, yo, it has to be on Series X and Series S. Maybe they're like, it has to be on Prime. If you support Series X, cool. If you don't support Series S, cool too. That would be wild. That would be wild. But overall, I think this is a smart move for them because we were in a similar situation. Of course, way less impactful. But the Xbox One X, of course, launched, and we have the PS4 Pro here, and we have the Xbox One X here. The PS4 Pro launched 1 year before the Xbox One X. And that also meant that one console was more powerful than the other. But back then, it did not really matter that much. It only meant that Xbox One X could like output native 4K and PS4 Pro would use like upscaling technology. This is the best example of a difference I could find. And it's hard to tell the difference. It's really hard to tell the difference. Also here they have like two games running side to side. Okay, now One X is on the left. What the heck? But basically, the frame rate is kind of the same. So there was not that much of a difference. Even though if you had like a 4K TV, you did notice that it was a bit more crisp. It looked a bit better on the Xbox One X versus the PS4 Pro. But obviously, in this day and age, where even the PS5 Pro can now look like quality mode graphics with 60 FPS, I do think a console that launches 2 years after the Pro will already look significantly better than the Pro and have more ray tracing and higher frame. There's just way more possible in games nowadays. So I do think it might have a big impact on what they can do. And if Microsoft can then, with their own games, really go crazy. Obviously, the third-party games won't be able to really take advantage of the Prime. But if they, with their own games, like maybe Elder Scrolls will probably not look that great. let's say, Blade, Marvel's Blade, or they can really show off the Prime graphics. Because that is also another thing we have to think about. Right now, we are in the situation where Microsoft has their own games. They have their Xbox Game Studio games, and they're now bringing them to PlayStation 5. And they will continue to do so. But the PS5 version is now better because it has a PS5 Pro update. So they're basically, if you want to play the best version of an Xbox game on console, you have to play it on PS5. And you don't want to be in that situation. So that's why I think the Prime is great too, where, yeah, the Prime is also the best place to play the Xbox games, while right now it is on PS5. Maybe, we don't know, but what if GTA 6, again, I think it will be delayed to 2026. I don't think it will be like I think it will be half a year. So I think they're trying to get it out in March. Maybe they will move it to the summer or something, I don't know. But Prime, the Xbox Prime, that will be the best place to play GTA 6. If they can, like, we know the PS5 Pro probably won't be able to play GTA 6 at 60. But if Xbox can come in and be like, yo, we are the only console where you can play GTA 6 at 60. That's crazy. Of course, I'm throwing a lot of, like, ideas that come up in my head at the wall. We have to wait and see. Maybe Xbox is not doing it. I'm just saying that I think with the position they are in, which in the console business is not great, this could, like, turn things around. They need something to disrupt the current way it's going. And bam, launching a Xbox Prime, $700. It's the most powerful console 2 years after the PS5 Pro. All our games look the best on this. Sure, you can play them on PS5, buy them, or you can get Game Pass and they will look better as well. Bam, bam, bam. I think that will help them. I think that would be smart. And you also lose that Series S issue, where then you will have Wukong. You will not have that Series S console holding you back, because we now have two big games with this Series S issue. The longer the generation goes on, the longer it will likely... There will be more games that Xbox fans will miss out on because Microsoft chose to go with the Series S. The sooner they can get rid of that, I think the better for everyone. So yeah, let me know what you think, of course, in the comments. Subscribe for more of this, and I'll speak to you soon.